thank you for being with us. We we had a fun start to the technical part of this show, so appreciate you guys sticking around. I know others will come in, watch the replay, so we'll get right into the show here today. Exciting times to be in marketing. I just want to welcome everybody to our live event. It's the Multifamily Apartment Marketing Strategies event. And, one of the things that we know about marketing is it's changing quickly, right? It's changing fast as we explore new opportunities with AI, technology, and just the way that customers are learning about information. Just quickly, I want to introduce myself. I'm Patrick Antrim, Chairman of the Multifamily Innovation Council. I'm also founder and CEO of NectarFlow. And I'm excited to share our time together because we're going to be doing more of these events around more narrow problems that multifamily owners and operators want to solve. And you may be leading marketing yourself, right? You may be overseeing leasing or maybe looking at shaping even the strategy. Maybe you're looking at an ownership perspective. I know we have we had a lot of people register for this, and I have and you can't really see it here, but I have 5 pages of notes from every attendee that submits their challenges and their opportunities. Right, and you being in the right room today is to help look at how do we approach solving those things, because renters are having new ways to discover apartments, and as I mentioned earlier, this technology is changing fast, and faster than we can even think or even keep up with it. Right, if you're like me and you're paying attention to this, even if you're paying attention to it, the target is moving as well. And for those of you that are in the current realities of running these portfolios, you know that your advertising costs are continually just creeping up, right? Conversations are becoming harder and harder to have. They're becoming more unpredictable, right? And it's harder and harder to even stand out and differentiate your brand amongst other brands as well. So I think what's happening here is this is all unfolding, and we're seeing a new era of even search for how people discover apartments, and it's favoring answers over ads or even links or rankings, right? So if you think about AI platforms like ChatGPT or Google's AI overviews, some of you have used Perplexity, which is organizing real-time search across the web. And they're not pointing people to pages, right? They're giving people the direct responses or even the answers, And I've been saying, and I heard this from the founder of Perplexity, that Google's vision many years ago, 2 decades ago, whatever that was to collect all the world's information, right? And now with AI, it's more about all the world's answers. And if you're a brand, right, or you have a property, maybe even a story about the thing you're building, if you're not part of that response, then you're invisible, right? These conversations are happening, if you like it or not, right? These answers are being delivered. And the way generative AI works is they're generating answers. So if you're not creating the content to be the answer, then we're missing some opportunities here. And so let me go to some slides real quick. I'm going to show you what Instagram recently has released, Meta, around Instagram posts now being indexed in Google search. This is great news for apartment operators because Google and Bing, right? You're going to start seeing those posts, videos, reels. You're going to see a lot of emphasis on video today. And so your branded content will now be in the streams, competing with just blog post news and all the stream of everything else that you have out there. So you're going to hear today how we talk about optimizing some of those things on Instagram and even, TikTok. Some of you are on TikTok. This is where the conversation and entertainment is happening. This is almost like new TV. Right, is now also appearing on Google search. So young leaders, young renters are using TikTok even to search for content before they even go to restaurants and experiences around the life that they're living. So TikTok obviously is increasing SEO principles with captions and your descriptions and things like that. And then of course the opportunities with YouTube being Google owning YouTube, shorts and videos being part of real-time creating videos that get indexed, that give you the opportunity to be in that conversation. And I just think about, again, this is the opportunity right now to get more content independent around what's happening with your brand. Because at the end of the day, you want to lower your advertising costs, you want to accelerate your lease up timelines, you want to get your occupancies to the standards that you want them, right? And you want to do that in a productive way. But before we get into our session today, I want to talk a little bit about where we've been. So let's just step back for a minute. Let's rewind a little bit. Back when the internet was evolving and coming along, we had magazine, apartment, like literally print ads. And the internet reshaped an industry, right? And we looked at taking our apartment communities in print, right? And then, getting them online, right? So the internet was prioritizing online listings and authoritative sites. But the reality is apartment owners and operators did not prioritize building their own websites. They relied on the magazine ads, right? They did the listings, and eventually they handed over demand to ILS platforms. And what's important about that now is with AI search, the most productive and most useful, concise answer for the renter that's searching for the problem they want to solve, like find the apartment that they want, or maybe it's, certain employers in the area, whatever that may be. If you're not that answer, then you're not in the conversation. And the default from that is if that answer doesn't exist, what the AI overviews and search engines, AI search generative optimization engines, what they will be doing, like Google and Bing and all these companies, is they're going to provide trusted sources, authoritative sources, like your apartment ILSs. Those have incredible authority, and you're going to want to continue to support those businesses because you want to make sure you're leasing fast and all that stuff. But the hotel industry did this as well. It was back in 9/11 when no one was planning on travel stopping instantly, and the hotel operators did not have a forward approach on how they took care of demand. And Expedia, Priceline, and all these types of companies, they made booking easier, but they took the customer relationship with them, right? So the hotels are spending decades trying to get their relationship back with their customer. They don't own their customer experience anymore. And that story right now is repeating itself, both with handing it over to an ILS distribution system, handing it over to, like what the hotels did, to third-party sites, right? And this is happening right now in AI search for apartment communities. And the reason why it's going to be handed over if we don't take action is because we're not creating our own content. We're just showing floor plans and things like that. But this is an opportunity to rewrite it, right? This is your chance, and that you're here. I'm happy to share that time with you guys. In times of disruption, I will say one of the things I want to key into today is, and Jeff Bezos talks about this, which is a lot of people ask him, like, how do you innovate for the future and what's going to change? And he likes to look back and say, well, what's not going to change? And what we know that's not going to change is renters will want to have trusted information. They will want to find, they're going to want to find their places to live quickly, easily, right? With people, without people, all that stuff. They're going to want to have a frictionless experience, I should say, and they want to get it fast. So those are the things that won't change. And so when you're thinking about how do you build and optimize the things that you're working on in strategy and tools and all the things that you're using to get out there to rent and create demand, is you got to think about that in how we approach the things that we're going to do. And when you think about what a company is, the purpose is to differentiate, right? And marketing, their job there is to differentiate our brand from every other option. right? And we used to be able to do that visually, but now the answers are happening where they're not even on our sites anymore. So if you start thinking about all the things that you're doing, maybe you're using the same CRM as your competitor, maybe the same website through your PMS, right? Maybe the same ads on an internet listing site, right? What's really interesting and different about the thing you're working on for the prospect? And if marketing is about differentiating, then we can do that through words, we can do that through story, but there's an opportunity with all this noise, with video and social media, to get seen across the platforms in ways that are productive and consistent, that differentiate and draw the type of renters that you want in. Right? Now, again, just reminding you that that's the purpose. Marketing is to differentiate. That's the purpose of a company. We're different because living here, it's going to be different, you know. But when everything looks the same, you know, doesn't matter how big your budget is, right? Because nobody really remembers anything if you're not different, right? So great marketing should stand out. Great marketing should feel different. So the customer is understood, and actually the customer feels at least understood, right? So most customers, when they're coming to your property, they're running away from something, like they had a bad experience, or they're moving, or they got other life skills or life scenarios going on, whatever that may be. But we need to understand what they want less of and what they want more of, right? And when we have to package and present and bridge the gap to make sure that the community, the offer that we have, helps them achieve the thing that they want, right? In the way that they do that. And we can do that through copying, through words, and through these types of things, because people are not just searching keywords anymore. Remember, keywords were for documents. We're finding properties, we're finding brands, and they're asking longer questions about this stuff. Now, I will tell you, many of you have built and managed apartment developments, which means like you already understand this process when you're building and it's dirt, and you're looking at like who's going to live here, what are the employers in the area, right? What is happening with traffic patterns, amenities, and you kind of have a longer term vision of who you're actually building the building for. But something happens between that process on lease up and when you get into this concession race, right? Rents are softening, you're trying to outpace, and you're just comparing floor plans, right? We lose the narrative, right? We become reactive. We start offering discounts, looking at paper floor plans, comparing those things, and it's really not that different, and we're just in survival strategy, right? Which is a strategy to survive, right? But it's not the strategy you need. So let me tell you a little bit about what we believe, and I'm gonna bring I've got a very interesting guest. We're gonna be showing you some things, right? Demonstrating as well. But if these AI, if Google and ChatGPT and all these Perplexity, if renters are changing their search behavior and AI tools are answering the renters' questions, and your content needs to be part of that answer. The things that you produce. Now, oftentimes the thing that's listed on our websites are not really answering the questions. They're just, nobody wants our products and information. They want their problem to go away. Well, I can't find an apartment, right? Or I need an apartment with pets, or whatever that is. Or they want some desired outcome. And oftentimes our websites are talking about us. Here's what we have. We have amenities. We have these things, but we're not entering the conversation the renter has. So if you're not creating that content both on page but also out across in social, we're losing the opportunity before they even get to the website, because AI is giving them the answers to the questions they're asking in overview, right? It's kind of moving away from links and rankings to more trust. So then when they trust the answer, they'll go find you and your website. And I believe that's really where we're shifting from SEO, search engine optimization, which is still important, right, of course, but to AEO, which is answer engine optimization. Now, answer engine optimization has been named a lot of different things, and I don't know where it'll land, right? It may be large language model optimization. Google has SGE, search generative, or SGO optimization, right? Lots of different things and marketers love to coin words, so stay tuned, that may evolve. But that's where the trust is built right now. And that's where these decisions are being made about where they spend their time and what they want to look for. Then nobody wants to look at links anymore, right? And it's clunky, and it's the trend. That's what's happening. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. I want to talk about less about the tech tools on that part, and literally get into what keeps us from actually taking the action that we need. And part of that is it's one of the hardest problems, I believe, in marketing today is being consistent. And, social media really rewards, and even more so is rewarding consistency more than ever. It used to be more about followers and audience. And now, in fact, we call it social media. Have you ever been on Instagram or even TikTok? Maybe even LinkedIn? It's not even, I don't even see people I know anymore. The content's finding us based off of relevancy and what has staying power for longer term attention, right? So your best marketer may be your leasing agent, but what happens when they turn over? What happens when they quit? What happens when they get promoted to another property? We're losing the brand voice of that property. What's unique? What's interesting? So the question is, like, how do we scale across dozens of hundreds of properties, and still sound human when we do this, and get over the hurdle of turnover, retraining employees, and getting them away from creating all this content to actually, when the demand comes in, giving them the experience that they have been set up to expect. That's been the challenge. And one of the things that we believe that you're going to see here in just a minute, I'm going to bring on Miles in a moment here. We're going to talk about exactly how we've solved it. Now, we did an AI research around attitudes and insights for AI, right? Content and all different things. And 2 products that we developed through the first group of the beta program, the Multifamily Innovation Council, you're going to see today. And every single one of us has properties, right? We have our own marketing team. We have challenges that we want solved. And we're not talking about just giving people, templates and prompt engineering and all these things that require you to go do things. But what we're talking about is a marketing consultant that comes into your business, extracts the unique value or property. Each property extracts the unique value of each property in each location from like your maintenance technicians, your management team, from your leasing professionals, because everybody has different perspective of the value that they reference the residents love about living there, both good and favorable, right? Or unfavorable. So what we want to do is we want to get that information from the people on site who truly understand the nuances of this property, what makes it great and special, and where people lean in and where people step back and object. We want to get that directly to the renter that's most likely to convert and through content, right? So we have a product that we've produced. It's called Contivo. You're going to see it here in a little bit. And I want to walk you through how it works. Before we do that, I'm going to bring on Miles. Miles Maybe, it's his first and last name. He's our technical solutions engineer. He leads product at NectarFlow. He's going to join us in just a minute. But Contivo is just one of the products that we've developed inside the first group of the beta. We had about 87 people come through the beta program that opted in for the beta, but we grouped them because we couldn't do obviously all of them at once. But through this process, we were able to build with organizations and make something that I think is pretty interesting around scale, multi-location, using a unique voice, and positioning the product in a way that actually solves for what we're trying to work on here. Because it's not about products and information, it's about a solution to a problem that I don't think anybody else is attacking it in this way. So why don't we go and bring Miles in. Miles, you want to welcome in?
Awesome, thank you. Great to be here, Patrick. Always happy to show our software off.
Yeah. And I have pages of notes here. We can read a couple of them.
Sure.
I'll give you a couple pages. We can banter on them. Here you go. Some of these were like leasing in a timely manner, operator clients seeing the value of brand development services. So that's another thing. Like oftentimes people want to rush the process, but in getting strategic about things, it's kind of hard to do as well. Calculating ROI on ads, AI for real estate marketing, standing out amongst the competition. What do you have over there?
I've got growing the wait list.
Yep.
Resident retention. Better brands for apartment communities and the property management companies.
Yeah. And if you guys are tuning in live, go ahead and put in the chat, like where you're from, and also what are the biggest challenges that you may have around, using content to draw in residents and across even social media, and then how you're thinking about AI search, how that's impacting your business and maybe, things that you're working on. I'd love to hear from you guys in the chat too. And we can take questions as we go through this as well.
Of course, yeah.
What else is interesting on that?
Getting strong leads that actually close.
Yeah. Yeah. Because you can have great leads, right?
Yeah. Or you can have a lot of leads, but none of them are going to close.
Right. Yeah. It overwhelms the team. And, even from a sales training standpoint, like if you get a bunch of leads that aren't qualified or what have you, then oftentimes leasing people can get sometimes discouraged in that process as well.
Yep.
Anything else you want to look at there? Or?
No, lots of the stuff we've already mentioned, common problems throughout the industry.
Yeah. Growth through being different, continually use AI for efficiency, adoption, integration of AI tools, crafting marketing strategies specific to individual properties to increase ROI. I like that one. Maximum growth for market share, becoming more efficient, streamlining property management. So if you guys are ready, why don't we go ahead and take you through a little bit of what we're using through our Innovation Council. We did the Group 1 beta. Let's go ahead and take a look at Contivo. And then if you guys have questions in the chat, put them in there. And we'll have an opportunity to address those as we go through this live. So where do you want to start?
Yeah, well, we can start with a little bit of preface. You talked about a lot of the important parts of creating a social media. You talked about consistency. You talked about the frictionless experience, creating more content, and just being present, and also creating content for those AI engines that are answering people's questions for you. And so we've taken all those into consideration and really designed Contivo to address those big things in a holistic way that is convenient and easy for your team to use, and is easy when you have turnover, when that leasing agent leaves, or when that marketing person has to be let go. Then your brand voice and content is in kind of an external system outside of their brains, and you're able to easier keep that brand consistency and voice throughout your posts, even through turnover.
Yeah, and I love that because you can have ChatGPT can have information that's indexed on the internet, but it doesn't know the conversations that employees are thinking about or having. And so, so we have AI agents that are structured here to do some research. Think about this like a marketing agency for your team at each property, which is pretty interesting. So I'll turn it over to you, and we can banter as we go here, and I'll watch the chat if anybody has.
Awesome. Yes, let me know. Let's switch to the actual software, actual Contivo here that we have.
Okay.
Awesome. And so when you log in, this is how your typical employee is going to interact with it. They will start to come up with strategic content themes that they can put in here, and then your AI agents are going to do the writing around the actual topics. And so you get to think about more high level, what would be good to write about, what things are in and around the topics that are around your property that would draw in the potential renters. So we talked a lot about brand voice, and so in our software we have an area for your AI assistants, so your agents, and this is where you can provide your AI agents writing style feedback, customer personas, reference information about your property, maybe things that make you different, things that are unique.
Where can we see that? Can we just go to the assistant and let's start there? Yeah.
We were in the assistant already.
Well, I didn't. Oh, I'm on a delay there.
There's a little bit of a lag with that. Yeah.
Sorry about that. Yeah.
All good. You
guys heard it before I did. Okay.
You can put in the links and hashtags that are relevant. So this is where you could put in your property or your brand's website, maybe some specific areas that you want to be pointing people to. And then hashtags on social media that are relevant or you care about or you want to be seen on. And so one of the things that's great with the hashtags is our AI agents know which platforms use hashtags, which ones don't, and they use them appropriately. And then we also have where you can upload reference documents. So a lot of brands or properties have done this in the past where they pull together information about the brand voice. And so you can upload those assets directly to the AI agents. And when they're writing, they're going to pull information from there as well. So we've really made it easy to kind of conglomerate and put all of the brand voice in one place. And if you stick around to the very, very end, we'll show you where we actually have a voice agent that will interview people at your property, maybe the property manager, maybe your star leasing agent, and extract the brand voice from that as well.
All right, so I'm looking here. You've got an AI agent. So what's different about this than just any other agent?
Yeah, so a lot of products that you may use or may see that have AI built in, it's going to be a generic AI that everyone is using. And so the voice is going to be kind of listless and it's going to just be generic. And so by providing all this rich information to this AI agent that's doing the writing for you, the writing quality and the brand consistency is going to be there in the posts that it writes after the fact after you've set this up. And so that's great because when there's turnover, it's going to continue to write with your brand consistency, as well as it keeps it easy for new employees to be able to look at this and learn about your brand from just the information within Contivo.
Yeah, and so what also is great about this is the fact that when we write, we're not always good at writing. So oftentimes when we're writing something, we're asking someone to think and be creative and organize our thoughts without being disrupted. And so what I'd love to do is go back into the software and show me, like, we're having the team can call on the phone.
Correct.
Right, and then we authenticate them to make sure they're the right person and all that stuff. And this custom AI agent has been trained on things that a copywriter would have. Like, so if you think about like someone that is a paid professional writer or content creator, they would understand copywriting, they would understand marketing strategy, they would understand how to create marketing personas. They would know things like what does an emotional buyer need versus a logical buyer, right? They would understand how to structure things so that people get excited about moving forward and buying things sometimes that they don't need. And at the core, at the system, at the brain, they have that already. And then when we pair that with your stuff, which is the unique stuff in conversation, how does that get extracted?
Yeah, so basically we give you a phone call, so it's as easy as calling from your conference phone or your mobile phone. You have a customer code, and then it asks you questions, and it comes up with the questions on the fly. It has some structure, but it's coming up with, as you talk about something interesting or something, it's going to ask more questions about that thing to pull out that information. Basically, the information you've got in your brain about what the brand is, because we all understand that. That's all up in here, but if I ask Patrick to type out the brand voice, nobody wants to type that much to get the level of detail that we can get when we have a conversation. When you ask people to tell stories or you ask people to explain how it makes you feel, there's a lot more rich content in that spoken word than if they were to try to type out the same type of thing. So after the phone call, we take this great information that we now have, we run it through this model that you were talking about, pull out all the information and organize it into the writing style, customer personas, that kind of stuff, which of course you can edit and approve and can change after that call has happened as well. And you can have multiple people take the call, and it'll conglomerate this brand together into one cohesive brand voice.
Yeah, so think about like extracting all the great things that your on-site team know that's unique about the property, but doing it in such a way through voice that also matches up the way people are searching now. So if semantically, we are using our language in this way, and people are thinking about, learning about things and using voice as well, it's a nice alignment, I think, for that as well. Let's get to the good stuff. So show us something, like in the software.
Yeah, so let's say you've configured your AI assistant, your agents. They now know your brand voice, and you've put in a really good topic. So what's going to happen is it's going to write, and here's my past runs. So we're talking about theaters and concerts in downtown Phoenix, for example. And so this page, there's a lot going on here, and this is the real value of Contivo. When we talk about consistency, if I were to ask a human marketer to go through and do all the steps that our AI agents are doing, it would take a long time to go through and do all this. So going back to research. So the very first thing that our AI agents do is they're going to look at up-to-date information from the internet about that topic that you have given them to write about. So it's going and it's researching just
Okay, so stop for a minute there. So this is important for people to know. So imagine you have an employee, and this is giving a team of, this is giving your on-site team their own marketing team to help them do things. So for example, you hire an employee, you tell them, I want to do some stuff to draw on more people. And sometimes people go right to action. They go right to ChatGPT and they start engaging, or they use AI. Here, what's happening is we're actually doing research around that topic that you cared about. And that topic could be something like, like in Arizona, there's a lot of different things that go around. Sporting events, Barrett-Jackson, big auto shows. Just filmmakers come here because, there's certain things happening that provide them certain resources to invest in creating films here. And so if we know that people are likely going to be interested in those things, we can write about those things. And so we're the answer in that process. And that's what I really think is interesting is before just writing, we're getting clear. We have an AI agent that goes out and finds that information, collects it, and then does what? Keywords?
Yeah, so the next step after we've done this research, and it also provides us the citations, but we go to SEO. So SEO is still important even in this age of AEO. We go through that research and we write the main keywords, which once again are up to date. Then we do the long tail keywords. So we're starting to do some longer searches. Then we have the semantic phrases. So this is the stuff that people are likely to say into an AI or say into some sort of searching system that they're using.
I also like that this is also a kind of like a ideas list. These could be TikTok videos or Instagram headers or hooks or things like that. That perhaps would be interesting to people.
Because these are all related topics that are up to date about whatever the topic is you put in. So there may be variations of it that would be excellent next things to write about, or maybe posts for next week, or like you said, titles for stuff. So there's a lot of really good information in these keywords and these phrases that come out, and it's all up to date. And then we also write what are people searching for related to the thing you're searching for. So these are questions that are related to the question that we're asking. And so, as you're writing more things, you can start to address these questions. And so now that we have all this really rich, up-to-date information, our AI agents go and write an actual article. And so this article we write 4 different versions of, and we're actually utilizing and powering them with other LLMs. And so we're starting to bring in creative writing from maybe from Gemini or from Anthropic or from Perplexity. There's lots of different LLMs where bringing them together in one place and having them each write a version, and then we take the best versions with once again, your brand voice. And put it into one.
But you can see, and you can use whatever you want. I mean, it's fully editable, right? And this could be a newsletter, this could be a blog, it could be many things. And let's go to, now we take that and we break it up and click on the tabs where they have different styles, right? So click on all of them, just moving through them. There we go. So you have different variations. So imagine an employee wrote something, but it would give me 4 examples. And,
Yep. Or 4 different employees write one or something like that.
Right, right. And then now what are you doing? You're trying to get this seen across the web. What happens next?
Yeah, so we do a few different things that are really helpful. We write an AEO-focused article. So this is in the format that those answer engines are looking for. So this is a great thing to post in addition to your current post, because this is what scrapers and stuff are going to like to be able to provide that answer when someone does a search. But then we get into the socials. So just posting.
Now that's important.
Yeah.
Because that's something that nobody's doing right now.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
Right, we need to, we always think that we have a computer and a screen and the humans are doing the searching, but right now, someone's asking a question on a platform somewhere else. Mm-hmm. AI is looking for what's the best answer to that question.
Yep.
And so if we're creating content that's structured from a technical standpoint,
yes,
to show up where it can, that's productive.
Exactly.
Right, okay.
Yep, and then that might drive traffic back to your site or other places. Then we get into the socials. So based off this article, we write, and you can see it's quite an extensive list here of socials.
So let's just go through. What do you have there? And then let's hit the Instagram first. And
yeah.
I think a lot of properties are on Instagram.
Yeah, so you got TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook. You got Reels, specifically X. Google My Business is a big one because that shows up on Google Maps. So when people are looking up directions to get to your apartment, they're seeing content that's been put there. And then we also have like Snapchat and Threads, some of these other ones. So this is
another thing is being consistent and writing in the tone and the voice of each platform. So we've taken the admin work of doing that. Number one, we went and researched information about the things that your ideal customer would care about. And then remember, the brain and the science behind this is the AI agent knows the persona of your brand. So before it even writes, it has better research and it has better, focus. And then now we take that and then make it easy for them to approve posts on all those different, 15 different places?
Yeah, something like that.
Reels and YouTube and all that stuff. So you may not be in all those channels, but maybe you're not in those because it's hard. You don't know how to do it. You can't manage logins. It's frustrating, and you can't multi-location manage it as well. You got authentication going on and YouTube accounts and stuff like that. So let's tour this a little bit more.
Yeah, so let's go back to, and you bring up some really excellent points about dissemination of this information. So you can see that I have 3 that are in a category called connected. That's TikTok, YouTube, YouTube Shorts. And then I have a category called not connected. So I've actually authenticated into TikTok, YouTube from my Contivo account, and I can now, if I were to go to TikTok, I can post directly or schedule a post.
Let's go back to Instagram because I just want to focus on Instagram right now. Let's just focus on Instagram. What's happening here? So we have, they have an image. They can upload an image. Let's go through that.
Correct. So it writes in the tone of the platform and also incorporates the hashtags you can see there. But then I have a media gallery built into Contivo, so I can go and I can upload assets from, maybe my leasing agents go out and take photos. A lot of apartment complexes have excellent photos and media already. I can upload those into one place, and then I can choose from my gallery, so I don't have to upload multiple times.
It's an image gallery.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and then on the right, I see that there's the ability to have a comment. Tell me more about that.
Yeah. So we get a nice preview over here, but then a lot of platforms really like it when there's a first comment, or maybe you want to put a link in the first comment. That's a common strategy in marketing. And so down here, we're able to post that first comment or schedule that. All right.
So what you said there is important for people to know. Like, even on LinkedIn. So if you think about it, if you're LinkedIn and there's a link in the post going to YouTube, do you think that's more favorable to the algorithm or unfavorable? Like, do you think they'll show it to more people, right? They want retention on the platforms. I think Meta's, Facebook, the same way. And so the ability to be able to schedule and have a link in a comment allows you to still drive traffic to the places you want to go to, but also, enhance the algorithm. And that'll change over time.
Of course.
But this is a nice approach to that as well, I think.
Yep. So from our platform, you're able to schedule those. Like I said, we have this nice preview over here to show you what it's going to look like, so you can make sure, it's on brand and it looks nice. And so, you're able to connect all these different platforms, and then you could also do a bulk scheduling. So I could go pick all 3 of these and schedule all 3 at once. So we really have built in some awesome tools to help reduce the friction with posting consistently. It's going to write it for you in the brand voice, and then you're able to schedule it and post it. And you can also do one-off posts too. So if I go back to home and I click this create from scratch, I get a blank thing and I can enter all my own information. So if you need to do a blast out about something a little less creative, a little more mundane, maybe the food trucks are here this week or something, you can do that type of post and schedule it right from our platform as well.
Okay.
Yeah. And then, I don't know, we could go to, we have a really cool feature called the mobile uploads. So your leasing agents can actually scan a QR code on their phone, and then they can upload media directly to that media
So no
gallery.
login, no app to download.
Correct.
It authenticates them, right? And then they get cloud hosting, uploads the video. They can record in the app too, right?
They can, yep.
So they don't even have to have. So this would, the use case here, think about this now, like you have, remember, I showed you Instagram indexing on Google search, right? TikTok, right? YouTube Shorts, YouTube long form. And so now with that QR code, you can hit that QR code. Let me hit it there. You can see that QR code on the left. You hit that QR code, and now what happens is from your phone, you can record a video. Just, hey, here's the really interesting event, wine tasting event we did at the property today. And then that gets uploaded into the software.
The media gallery. And then when you go to create a post, it's right there as an asset for you to pick.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah. And then another really cool feature that is the most recent addition is reviews. So it pulls in the reviews from Google and Facebook, and then you're able, like Google My Business and Facebook reviews. This apartment complex doesn't have any. I can switch real quick to a property that does. And so it pulls in those reviews and it actually uses your AI writer to assist in responding to those reviews, whether they be positive or negative. So down here, I can click on reply to this review. My AI writer is going to review the review. It's a little redundant. It's going to look at the review and it's going to analyze how would the brand respond to that and then put it here. Once again, I can still edit before I actually reply. So this is really helping with staying on top of also how people are talking about and Google My Business. Like I said, when people look at your apartment on Google Maps, even if it's just to get there, they're going to notice how many stars are there and if you've responded, to reviews. So just a lot of features we've kind of packed in here specifically for...
This is Facebook too?
Correct. Facebook and Google My Business.
Okay. Very good. And so now again, coming up with great answers, and even when those reviews are unfavorable, using good AI agents that understand the persona, understand the things you want. So using a custom AI agent to respond, but also craft something that in that response, even if it's unfavorable, can be, well, we strive to be the best apartment community in Scottsdale or whatever that may be. And so you get some kind of keyword benefit out of that as well.
Yeah, so lots of awesome features that we've packed in here, and like I said, it helps extract your brand, it helps you be consistent, and it helps just reduce the friction, and especially friction when there's turnover of people creating marketing content.
One thing you didn't mention is the multi-location.
Yes,
So a lot of viewers would have lots of properties, and so this is allowing you to be able to manage connections at each property.
Correct.
Take me through that.
Yeah. Let me share the screen real quick.
All right.
So up here in the top, you can see there was this drop down I clicked earlier. These are all the locations that I have access to, and so maybe I'm an admin or corporate. So you can see here we have Olivia Charles, that's an apartment complex, a management group, a development
click
group.
on one of them and let's see.
Sure. What's really great with these is the media gallery, the social media connections, the AI agents, all are separate, completely separate. So I can have a different brand voice for each of those locations, different assets, and I can manage the social connections. So I could have a leasing agent or someone in one property, but they can't see or accidentally post to other properties. They're within their bucket.
It's useful managing Google My Business accounts, Facebook, linked, all the things.
Yeah, it keeps them separate.
And then the other thing I think is interesting about that is approvals.
Yes.
So, and I know we're working on that, right?
That's in a pipeline to add an approval feature. Even right now, we still see customers that will create the content, curate it, and then they'll show and get the final okay from someone higher up, and then they can click that schedule or that post. So, very easy to manage those separate connections and keep them secure.
Yeah, that's great. So I have a few things that I wrote down, like what's different, what's unique about this. And listen, I'd love to hear from you guys what your biggest challenges is or what your thoughts are if you're seeing this. Part of this is you probably are already having a few services. You may have reputation management. You may have someone writing blogs. You may have another tool that you're using to distribute. But what's interesting here is that no one tells you what to say, right? And consistently, what Miles, we missed out, I think I'm talking about, is the ability for this to happen automatically. Coming at us. Tell us a little bit about that, like the automatic writing.
Yeah. So there's a setting you can turn on that basically what it does is every day at 7 a.m. before the workday has started, it just runs, there's topics that you can say, these are the general topics that we're excited about. And what it will do is your AI agent will pick one of those topics at random. Then it will say, okay, let's write something interesting about that. So it'll write a prompt, and then it runs through and writes all those social media contents, everything we talked about on that topic. And that's just waiting for you in the morning when you first log in. And so you can turn that on, and every day you have a fresh content, fresh idea right there that you can then use and work off of.
Yeah, that's interesting. And so I liked the trust and credibility for creating inbound opportunities. So those answers when AI is providing that answer. If we have that content, we're going to be seen there. I liked the custom AI agent for each location, trained on your brand voice. I've got here the AEO article, the answer engine optimization article, literally writing so that AI can index you. I mean, we did all this work with SEO and all this other stuff. It stands to say this would make a lot of sense there. I liked what you said about multi-model writing, which is, you would have to have a subscription to ChatGPT, Anthropic, Google, Grok, all these things, and then have a supervising agent look at what's different amongst all those writings, and then compare that to the personas that the custom agent says is compelling to draw in the right type of renter as well. I love the multi-location management. I thought that was really good for a lot of corporate, more scalable operators. And then clearly the distribution.
Yeah.
It's a huge, not logging in.
Connecting once, and then you being able to schedule, post, do that first comment, all right in the software. And that gives access to maybe like your leasing agent or a marketing person, but they don't have to have the credentials to YouTube, or they don't have to have the actual credentials to Google My Business. We handle that.
Right, that's great. I like the daily autonomous writing, presenting it almost like your team's like, here you go. Here's what we came up with today.
Yep.
And that's going to help us do some stuff. I know you've got interesting stuff around analytics coming.
Yep, that's on the roadmap.
Management approvals for the teams. And then the first comments, I thought that was really interesting as well. What else? What else did we miss on this?
We've covered it pretty in detail. Also, of course, as you schedule content, it shows up nicely on a calendar, so you can kind of see an overall view of what you're posting.
Let's look at that. What do you got?
Sure. So over here on the content calendar, you'll be able to see. I think let's see. I believe this one's got more content on the calendar for last month. So you can see some things that were posted. You can drill down and see what was posted, which platform, what date, what content, that kind of stuff. So this just gives you an overall picture view, as well as we also have a list view, if you prefer list views, to be able to see this content. So once again, just really trying to help with that consistency and the just ability to keep posting content so that you keep showing up in places and be the answer as search evolves and as answers evolve.
Yeah, no, that's great. Well, we'll stick around and we can answer any questions that you may have. We've got a few watching here. If there's thoughts that you have, I know that we'll be continually this conversation. I think that the ability to generate new rentals, lease faster, lease in a more demand, where you have a little bit more independence over your voice, how answers in AI are even written. And I know in our Innovation Council, we had that question come up, and the answer was like, listen, the answers are being generated.
Yep.
Regardless.
Yep. Yeah. At the end of the day, the AI is going to provide an answer to the user because that's their whole goal. The user is going to search something, the AI is going to provide an answer. The real question then becomes, where does the AI get the content to come up with that good answer? Is it from your actual trusted website, your sources, or is it going to just kind of come up with something based off old data or based off anecdotal data or from an ILS? Where is it going to get the information? And the easier you make it for the AI to pull that answer from your website, the easier you serve it up to them, that's more likely that they're going to reference it to give to the user.
Yeah, no, I like that. I love that comment because, I mean, people are gonna fill in the gaps with their own information.
Mm-hmm.
So it gives you a chance to do that. So this pretty much concludes what we're working on. So you may be asking, well, how do you even get in touch with this? We have a process here. Well, it's just essentially, what happened here?
Where are you trying to go, Patrick?
Oh, I lost my, interesting. Well, that went dark. You can go to contivo.ai. That's contivo.ai. You can learn more about the actual product. And we'd love to work with you guys on developing even more features, but also working with you to help you generate new rentals, lower your advertising costs, and meet the demands of the AI searcher today. So, yeah, if you don't have any questions, we'll go ahead and conclude, and we'll see you guys in the